The Inter-Libyan National Conference, sponsored by the United Nations, scheduled for Wednesday, has been postponed following the fighting that has raged for a week in the country. In a spiritual retreat in Vatican, Salva Kiir and Riek Machar want to consolidate the peace process starting in February. These are our top stories. Stay tuned for more details in this newscast. Death penalty continues to decline worldwide. Amnesty International has recorded 690. This figure does not include executions in China, where figures are classified as state secret. The drop in the number of executions worldwide, which fell by 31% compared to the previous year, proves that even the seemingly rebellious countries are beginning to change and realize that the death penalty is not a solution. According to Kume Naido, Secretary General of Amnesty International, who added that these statistics show that it is only a matter of time before this cruel and unlucky punishment is relegated to the past. According to the NGO, this decrease can be mainly explained by changes brought to the law on anti-narcotics in Iran, where the number of executions has dropped by 50%, and by the drop in number of executions in some countries like Iraq, Pakistan, and Somalia. In the United States, Washington's death penalty law has been declared unconstitutional. Kume Naido says it is now up to the other countries concerned to take positive steps in this direction. The fighting in Libya has led to the postponement of the National Conference to gather Libyans in a roundtable negotiation. The meeting is expected to be held in the city of Gedams, an oasis in the west of the country, to chart the political future of the country. The special representative to the United Nations mission in Libya, Ghassan Salamé, said he could not ask Libyans to attend a conference against the backdrop of artillery bombardment and air raids. However, he expressed his determination to organize the meeting as soon as possible. But 6 days after the start of clashes in the capital Tripoli between the country's armed rivals on the southern periphery of Tripoli, this postponement was inevitable. The latest fighting began after the attack by forces loyal to General Khalifa Haftar, opposing the UN-backed Tripoli government and other armed troops supporting him. Appointed acting head of the Algerian state, the former Senate president will handle the transition period under 90 days until the election of a new president. He has very limited power. He is not allowed to reshuffle, nor can he dissolve the National Assembly. He cannot review the constitution, no reform can be made, and he cannot grant pardon or call a referendum. In the meantime, the Algerian government and parliament remain in place. The new president still faces the popular pressure, and demonstrations seem unstoppable. Ben Salah does not embody renewal and belongs to Bouteflika's system. He is already contested by the street, civil society, and political parties. His current position, according to many observers of political environment in Algeria, can aggravate the crisis, though the acting president advocates exemplary and undertakes to organize a free and fair presidential election. The army, on the other hand, reiterated that the solution had to be constitutional, and if everyone could abide by the law, this would make it possible to come out of the crisis. Saint Martha, the residence of Pope Francois, is where the 5 members of the Republic of South Sudan will be staying. They will lead the country from May 12 by sharing power to end the civil war. In addition to President Salva Kiir, 4 of the 5 designated vice presidents, including rebel leader Riek Machar, will be present. The ecclesiastical authorities will be represented by the 8 members of the South Sudan Church's Council. The church wants to offer a good opportunity for meditation and prayer, as well as for meeting and reconciliation to the leaders of South Sudan working for a future of peace, according to the Vatican statement. A spiritual retreat with sermons by both the Archbishop of Gulu in Uganda and the President of the Conference of Major Superiors of Africa and Madagascar, which will end with a speech by Pope Francois on Thursday. The retreat participants will receive a Bible signed by the Pope and the Archbishop of Canterbury, which will include the message, "Seek what unites, overcomes what divides." According to the Holy See, South Sudan leaders will express their common commitment for peace before receiving a blessing. In September, Salva Kiir and Riek Machar signed a new peace agreement in Addis Ababa, providing for a power-sharing agreement aimed at ending nearly 5 years of civil war, which killed nearly 400,000 people and caused more than 4 million to flee their homes. Thousands of demonstrators who gathered on Monday in front of the Army headquarters and the Military of Defense, not far from the residence of the president, want to convince soldiers to support their movement against the government and President Omar al-Bashir. Since the beginning of the movement in December, the army has not participated in the repression of demonstrations led by the powerful intelligence service and riot police. When the army is there, we are not afraid, chanted the demonstrators. The organizers of the demonstration have formed a council to start negotiations with security forces and the international community in order to transfer power to a transitional government. The Alliance for Change and Freedom, a union of opposition parties and Sudanese professionals, called on the army to protect the demonstrators, composed of the intelligence service and the police. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged President Bashir's government on Monday to create an environment for a solution to the current situation and support the idea of an inclusive dialogue. Nothing really happened as planned at the Los Angeles Lakers after missing the playoffs of the North American Championship for the 6th year in a row. The Californian franchise has been deprived of its president, Earvin Magic Johnson, since this Tuesday evening. While Luke Walton had completed his pre-match press conference, Magic Johnson was in front of the media, whereas he was not expected. Straightforwardly, the now ex-president of basketball operations said he was resigning from his position, while confirming that he had not informed Jenny Buss, the Lakers owner. The 1992 Olympic champion felt handcuffed, referring to the rules surrounding a member of the management of a franchise. According to many rumors, relations between Luke Walton and Magic Johnson had not been rosy for several weeks. His sudden decision to leave the Lakers will not embarrass the club because the recruitment and the free agent period are not close, making this the best moment to leave. Magic Johnson wished the Lakers good luck before closing his press conference. According to him, the franchise is in the right direction and the arrival of LeBron James and that of many other players will help young players to improve for the team to be in a position to fight for titles. The Inter-Libyan National Conference, sponsored by the United Nations, scheduled for Wednesday, has been postponed following the fighting that has raged for a week in the country. In a spiritual retreat in Vatican, Salva Kiir and Riek Machar want to consolidate the peace process starting in February. That's all for our newscast today. Stay tuned on Gabon 24 for more news.